I came to Nicaragua for the first time in 1996 and was really deeply, deeply impacted.
We felt like God had something different for us, and that we felt sort of a nudging that, you know, God had a change for us.
How many years, healthy years, have I got left? What can I really do to make an impact with the remaining years of my life? And those types of things are really started to stir in my spirit. I think the thing that impacted me the most was getting out of my own culture and seeing another culture. The incredible need. Nicaragua is the poorest country in Latin America, was then, still is, second poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. And just seeing the need and started to question myself if I could be involved in somehow making a difference in those needs. When we arrived here, Michelle was introduced through another friend at our language school to a local garbage dump.
That kind of opened the door for me to go into this community called Nueva Vida in Managua in the city, and help just give people snacks and water, people that were working in the garbage dump all day out in the heat.
She started visiting that garbage dump. I first started visiting with her, and she continued. She would go into that garbage dump on her own and sit down on cardboard and take coloring books and color with the kids, take care of the babies while the mothers would be digging through the garbage for plastic, for cardboard, for even food sometimes. And what happened was the people started to really respect her. She was bringing them food and water, and they started to invite them back to their houses, where she could talk to them and pray with them and get to know them and what their needs were. A lot of them had medical needs. And that ministry just really started to grow, and she became very passionate about it herself.
Oh, it was just, yeah, so impactful. I mean, it was sad to me that people have to live that way. And so I wanted to do as much as I could to alleviate some of their pain. And for me, the way of doing that, and that's the way I am, I like to help people practically. Like if you need a drink, if that's going to alleviate some of the pain during your long, hard day out in the sun, then that's what I want to do. Or bringing fruit to them, something refreshing that will help them get through the day.
We were introduced to mango by a doctor friend of ours who went to the church we were going to. We go to a Nicaraguan church. We're the only foreigners in the church. And she had been coming to Mango for about 8 years prior to when we first came. She was coming out here to Mango to do medical consultations because at that time there was no medical help whatsoever. And she was also the founder of this little Bible school program.
We call it Escuela Biblica, but it's basically like a kids, vacation Bible school. And they would, have fun, but with a spiritual aspect to it. We would sing songs with them. They would have a craft to do, which they absolutely love. They would just cherish it and bring it home and put it up on their wall. Every one of the 3 days they would get a lunch, a good solid meal with rice, beans, and maybe some chicken, which would be rare for some of them to have.
Well, that was one of the first things that really impacted us, was how remote it was. At that time, it took 14 to 15 hours just to get to Tortuguero, the town where we take a boat. 5 hours of driving on a four-wheel drive road in second gear through mud, getting stuck, then staying in a very small hostel overnight, and then taking a 4-hour boat ride the next day downriver. To this very, very remote community. And when we first arrived here, we were impacted by the incredible need here. And right away in our Bible school program, we realized we had 15 and 16-year-old kids, girls, for example, that barely knew how to write their name. And then we started finding out they had only gone to grade 3. And we were like, what? The school only went to grade 6. And right away we knew that, wow, education's like a real serious problem here. And then also what impacted us literally was our health. Every time we came, we were sick. We had parasites. We were covered in flea bites. So I got a test kit from EMI and I tested the wells. And every single one of them, 100% of the wells, I tested 17, were all contaminated with E. coli, coliforms, and everything. So that led us to start a water filter program. And we started bringing water filters.
They were telling us that their health was getting better. We were so happy to hear that. They're great. They're portable filters, and they each have one in their houses. And so they were all so grateful to everyone, even in the surrounding areas, would come asking for a filter.
We noticed a remarkable improvement, not only in our health, but in the kids and in the adults. And what happened is the word spread like wildfire, and people started lining up, wanting to get put on a list to get a water filter. And so to this date now, here we are, about 3 years later, and we've distributed almost 600 water filters to 600 families in the area. And we've seen a remarkable change in our health and in their health. We did realize that education here was very, very poor. One of the teachers here was 40 years old, and he was teaching kindergarten, and he was just learning how to read and write himself. The truth is that over 60% of the adults here still are illiterate. A lot of the kids weren't even making it to grade 6. They were leaving the school to grade 4, grade 5. There was another group of kids that weren't in school, period. And there was no secondary school. There's no secondary school in this area for a 4-hour boat ride upriver and at least a 4 to 5 hour ride downriver. They needed better education, a complete education, just like the other kids in the cities, in Managua, in the closest town here.
The parents shared that was one of their main priorities, to have a good education for their kids.
We stood on this hill with 130 kids in a circle, and we prayed with those kids. And we explained to them, we don't have any money. We don't know where it's going to come from, but you guys as kids, you all need to pray if you want the school, that God will provide. And I was able to go back a couple months later and say, you know what? We're going to start. We're going to start. Michelle and I were literally on the way back home from Managua, and I got a phone call from the new director of EMI, Bill Tatum, asking me if he could bring a group of guys out to Managua because they had 2 projects canceled for that summer, and he had 4 architects and 4 engineers that were sitting around with nothing to do. And what he meant is if they could come out and work with the kids, help with the kids program or something like that, these were foreigners, just to give them a cultural experience. And I said, Bill, we just had 4 acres of land donated to us. We want to build a school. These guys can come out and do a master plan. They can come out and do what EMI does and do a design for us if they're able to. It was like perfect timing. I mean, if that's not God, tell me I'm crazy, right? They got the kids drawing what their dream school would look like, got ideas from the teachers. And then after a week, they presented to the whole community. Friends will tell you I'm not very good at asking for money. So I didn't actually. I took those renderings, flew back to Canada, and just told people the story of what had happened and what we were doing. And at the end of those 8 days, I had over $100,000 that had been donated.
We have good friends that have really helped us by donating towards the cause, people who, you know, trust us. And so it started that way, through a small circle of friends.
It's emotional, crying, just like, this is crazy. What's going on here? And came back and told Michelle, like, you know what, we got, like, I think it was almost $130,000 to start building this school. The biggest challenge were the logistics in getting in here. You know, truckloads of sand, truckloads of gravel. We've got to get cement, we've got to get blocks, concrete blocks, we've got to get rebar, we've got to get all these things out here. We hired a contractor from Managua. We hired over 40 men from the community to work as helpers, as laborers, and then we started on the project. Well, we saw an immediate impact. It was a boost to the economy right off the bat, because now we had 40 men. Now they were getting paid more than double of what they would probably normally be making. And so it definitely boosted the local economy here. But what it did more than anything is I could see, and Michelle could see, the change in people. And for the first time, I think what we really experienced was hope.
The community is so excited about it. It just gave them something to work towards.
These kids, they want to study. The kids up the river, they want to go to secondary school, but there wasn't one, and they got no way to get here. So now we're bringing them an hour by boat to get here so they can study.
Aquí hay calidad, porque si tenemos buenos maestros, tenemos calidad, y eso motiva a la familia, porque los estudiantes van a tener la opción a optar a una educación superior, ya no quedar estático. O tal vez acá se pueda haber unas carreras técnicas y carreras superiores, porque también hoy en día hay universidades en el campo también, que incluso ya en la Cruz de Río Grande ya hay, posiblemente tal vez en estos municipios pueda haber a futuro.
We have kids that arrive on horseback. The girl is 3 years old, the boy is 4 years old. They come by horse 2 hours every day on their own, no parent. They come on their own. They tie up their horse right in front of our house. Our cost per student is $40 a month, or $480 a year. And that covers all the operational costs required to get that student an education that year. So that includes the teachers' salaries, including administration. That includes the school supplies that they need, the uniform that's required here in Nicaragua. That covers the teachers' supplies. It gives them a healthy meal every day that sometimes they don't get at home. And it also gets them medical attention, any extended medical attention that they couldn't get here. We help with that.
It's fabulous what's already been done, putting this whole facility together in the last 2 years, amongst COVID and so many other challenges. But it's built and it's paid for, and the kids are already benefiting from this. But there's no electricity, and there's outhouses, and there's no computers. Those are the kind of things that people could get behind.
I see us running a computer program. I see us being able to teach them via computer. No electricity, no computer. And so the electricity, to be able to have power to do the tasks, is essential. So that we can further this vision, the beginning point is we need power.
To have it here would just be amazing. For them, it would be a miracle to be able to have computers to learn on. That would really be something.
Even though these people are impoverished, they were happy, they were excited. Their eyes showed life because we're offering a means for their dreams in life to actually come true. And I see that education provides children with tools to be able to fulfill their dreams.
You can just see that there's an energy in the whole community and an excitement about what's going on in Mango.
Parents, teachers, students, all of them are living a dream come true. Because this is something that they didn't expect. And now they are living it in the reality to do something so great for my municipality and for Nicaragua.
Every other place I've been in a third world country where there's no source of income, it's depressing. But these kids are excited and they want to help, and they're just so engaged in the whole process.
I am so inspired. What we're doing isn't a task for a month or for a year. It is a lifestyle for generation to generation to generation. The children now can dream. And in a community like this, often we think poor people don't dream big. Now we're giving them the ability for those who want to dream big, they can.
My father-in-law used to say to our sons, you know, just do your best. Just do your best. And I used to listen to him say that. And I think that's what God wants from us. He just wants us to do our best. Do your best. And when we all leave the planet and stand before Jesus one day, hopefully he'll say, well done, my good and faithful servant. Hopefully he'll be able to say that to me. Yeah, that's my goal.